everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Improved Decision-Making with Smarter Analytics and Employee Collaboration. The goal for today's webinar session is to provide you with beneficial insights that will help you get the most out of your enterprise technology investments. Our agenda today includes a brief introduction to Ultra Consultants, insights into ERP visibility and collaboration from Ultra host Marty Moore, followed by a presentation on smarter analytics and employee collaboration from special guest Dave Lindman with DRI. Then we'll share some additional resources that are available to you before moving on to Q&A. To get us started, let's take a brief moment to let you know that Ultra Consultants is serving as your host. As independent ERP consultants, our team is part of our client's organization, working shoulder to shoulder with ERP project teams throughout the country. Now celebrating Ultra's 25th year in business, hundreds of manufacturing and distribution companies have benefited from Ultra's guidance to meet their operational, market, and customer demands. Since 1994, manufacturers and distributors throughout North America, as well as companies with global operations, have teamed with Ultra as trusted advisors and industry best practice experts to guide them through their business process improvement and enterprise technology transformation journeys. Ultra's depth of experience is shown in a variety of vertical industries. Ultra offers proven methodologies in the areas of business process improvement services, technology selection and implementation services, and we continue on with our clients through business transformation and value realization. The consistent thread throughout all of these services and their phases is risk, change, and project management. Being a vendor-independent consulting firm means two main things. First, we are your partner for guiding you in your vendor education and selection. That's where we help you get to know in depth the enterprise software vendors and implementation practices that are best for your company and your unique project needs. Second, we are also your partner for helping you discover how to make improvements throughout your organization using your chosen technologies. I'd like to introduce our host today, Marty Moore, Senior Consultant with Ultra. Marty has over 30 years of experience in the manufacturing and technology industries with deep experience in managing complex information technology projects, teams, and change initiatives. And with that, I will hand it over to Marty to kick off today's discussion. Marty?
All right, thank you, Kristen. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the webinar. We're going to take a look at some ERP visibility and collaboration and how we can improve that. We're going to start by talking about some of the benefits of ERP, and I'm sure most of you have heard some of these. We're just going to touch on them briefly. That we want to do, take a look at processes, and we want to improve those and not just automate what you're currently doing, but take a look at what are the industry best practices and how we can move forward with those. On a technology standpoint, I'm sure that we've all learned how to work remotely now, and that's something that has been a big change. And we want to be able to do that with ERP as well as do it mobilely. Think about this, that you could work wherever you need to, and the software and your systems and everything you need are right there with you. And as we go through this in an implementation and also after post-go live, we want to manage risk. And what does that mean? We want to watch for it and bring in some experience to help you watch what might happen and how to address it before it happens, and what's the best approach to mitigate it. And on the bottom two that say business performance and achieve ROI, I'm going to combine those because what we recommend is that we start with a business case, not only to say what's the ROI of a project or where you're heading, but also to start it as a baseline on how do you track your improvements that have gone on, right? So you want to say, here's what we want to do, here's where we started. In a year or 2 years after implementation, how have we done? Have we really improved what we said we were going to do? To improve associate engagement and awareness, we want to get people more involved and not give them just data. We want to give them information. And that's a big change from where it used to be that you have piles of data, but what do you do with it? most of our clients say, well, we take it and we put it into Excel, and that's really where we do the work. What we want to do is drive that from the system and have a single source of the truth and ease of access to everyone. And as we talk about connect customers, associates, and suppliers, as we all know, everything begins and ends with the customer. So we want to make sure that we have a value chain that we can see what's going on and how we can best support our customers and add value. And as we prepare for future growth and change, we want to make sure that as we implement, and even as we move forward past implementation, we start with the basics and build to the future. Keep in mind, where do we want to end up? And usually it's a lot to say, here's some new software, some new processes. You have to be able to manage in small bites where you're going to go and how you're going to do that. Next, we want to take a look at the end-to-end value chain. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of data and transactions going on around this circle. And as I said, everything begins and ends with the customer. As we go to forecasting down the left of the circle, we want to make sure that we can get input from the customer, also any field experience that we know, and also any industry information that we can pull together to come up with what's best forecast for what we want to build and where we want to go with the company. We also want to make sure that we pull in the suppliers so that we can help them manage materials that we need and capacity, and also have some scorecards so that we can evaluate how well they're doing. On the inbound transportation, we want to look at that and manage it and plan it so that we know what's coming in, how we need to resource our staff and expect deliveries on time and high quality. On manufacturing side, we want to improve our planning and execution as we go through this. And we do that by increasing efficiency, throughput, and tracking of where things are and how things are being built. For transfer logistics, that we may have, as you think about this, some manufacturing plants, logistics is we ship it out the end of the building and it's done. Some have to send it to a distribution center, a one-to-one example, or a one-to-many that says we have one manufacturing plant that we send it to many distribution centers. And then the fulfillment side is delivery to the customer. So as you look at this, there's a lot of data that's out there. How do we get through this? How do we look at it? How do we make it manageable? How do we make it useful? That's what we want to look at. And then to improve collaboration and engagement, as you look at this, the bottom x-axis is time and the y-axis is engagement. And if you think about it, this is the path that we go through as we do any change with collaboration, ERP, or even if you think about it, this is what we all went through with remote working, that you get an awareness first, then you get some general understanding, and personal understanding is where you really know what you need to do and how to do it, which next goes into acceptance of more people understand it and want to work with it. And then we get to a place where we have adoption throughout the company or with many departments, and then ownership at the very highest level of engagement. And it takes time to do this. But also think about this, that anytime we bring in a new change, be it with ERP, a process, these are the steps you need to go through to get to ownership and how to do it. And it even boils down a little bit tighter that says you start at an individual level where it's general understanding or the personal understanding. Acceptance may take it to a departmental or a facility level. And as you go through adoption and ownership, it's at a company level. So for everything that we're working through ERP, each department or each person could be someplace else on this continuum. And we need to be careful with that and watch out and help people to get through it so that we can get the best out of what we're doing. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Emily and David.
Excellent. Thank you, Marty. Give me one moment here while I take over the screen. Alrighty. Great, there we go. So good afternoon, everyone. Can you confirm, Marty or Kristen, that you're seeing my presentation?
I do see it, Emily.
Looks good.
Okay, great. So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you to Ultra for coordinating and hosting today's webinar. I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy and adjusting to the changes that have resulted from the pandemic. As Marty said, I'm Emily Bull. I'm the marketing manager at DRI. And before we get into the demonstration, I just wanted to give a quick background on who we are. Decision Resources, Inc., or DRI, as we call ourselves, are experienced ERP system consultants and Infor CloudSuite ERP experts. The company was founded in 1978, and our first Infor CloudSuite ERP implementation was in 1985. That company is still a customer today. Since then, we've completed more than 300 successful implementations. We have 60 employees dedicated to CloudSuite ERP, and we're the largest Infor Gold Channel partner in the US. The blue states on this map indicate DRI's territory. As you can see, we cover the entire continental US. Our physical offices are indicated by the stars. We're located in Pittsburgh, which is our headquarters, Chicago, Austin, and Wichita. However, the majority of our workforce is remote, which allows us the flexibility to provide local services to our customers all over the country. We have consultants and developers from Seattle to Tampa. So wherever our customers are located, there's always a DRI team member close by in the event that they need on-site services. What you're also not seeing from this map is that DRI has customers with locations all over the world. We have customers that we provide services for in, for example, Mexico, South America, Europe, and Eastern Asia. DRI works with manufacturers of all types. This slide is just to give you a picture of what some of those vertical industries are. It's not comprehensive, of course, that would take up several slides. Our customers run the gamut from commercial bakeries to plastics manufacturing to biotech chemicals, metal foundries and forging companies, electronics, capital equipment, and so much more. Because we've been around since the 70s and we've got over 300 implementations under our belts, there's rarely a problem or process we haven't seen and worked through. Now that I've given you some background on DRI, I'm pleased to introduce our presenter. Dave Lindeman is a senior business solutions consultant here at DRI. Dave has over 25 years of experience working with ERP and supply chain management solutions and helping clients automate and transform their business operations. With that, I'll hand it off to Dave for the demonstration. Dave?
All right, thank you, Emily. I'm just going to switch to my screen. All right, and are you seeing my screen, Emily?
You look good.
All right. Well, thank you again, everybody, for attending the webinar today. As Emily said, my name is Dave Lindeman, and I'm gonna jump right into the software. But I wanted to kind of acquaint you with what we're going to look at before we do that. And we're going to hit two key areas. We're going to talk about some user productivity highlights, as we said, with employee collaboration. We're going to hit some smart analytics and dashboard capabilities. Now, ERP systems have existed for decades now, and a lot of enhancements have been done in ERP systems throughout the years to improve your, engineering and sales and purchasing functionality. But a lot of systems have kind of fallen behind the curve in terms of their ability to handle some of the technology and some of the user productivity features that are required today. And as we can see, through what Marty spoke of, and as we see in the real world today, that the ability to very quickly and rapidly react to supply chain issues is imperative today. And so we're going to show you some examples of how using Infor OS technology, that's Infor operating system technology and CloudSuite, that you can have features like this that allow you actionable insights and ability to drill down into details and have that information right at your fingertips, in addition to that robust ERP functionality that we're all used to. All right, so I'm going to start. We're going to take a look at some of the user productivity highlights, and highlight some of the things we're going to talk about here is, first of all, as users, we need to be able to personalize the content of what we're seeing so that we have information like metrics and key performance indicators right at our fingertips. So I'm going to show you some examples, and we'll look at these in a second. But I may be an executive and I want some key performance indicators on my dashboard that are kind of the in-your-face view of information. So I'll show you how you can kind of personalize content. In addition to that, we'll look at how collaboration, especially today with the ability to work remotely and collaborate with other users in the organization, is going to become imperative, as well as the ability to integrate your Microsoft Outlook and other applications with your ERP applications. So we'll take a look at that. We'll also talk about some workflow management capabilities where you're going to make processes that might be paper-based today electronic and allow electronic alerting and messaging throughout the system. In addition to that, we'll look at some features that we call context-sensitive or related information, and that's going to give you the ability to start bringing things like documents and supporting information into the fold electronically, so that as we access elements of our ERP data, we've got quick access to those related pieces of information. So let's start by taking a look at the home pages. And this home page that I'm on now, we're going to talk about personalized content, has some menu, what we call widgets on the left-hand side. And as you can see, as I work my way down, here's a dashboard of information. We're going to talk about dashboards in a little bit, but that's a live dashboard. And then I can have external content as well. So here's my DRI website. So it can be both internal and external content. Well, maybe as a user, I want some different views, and I can have multiple home pages. But in this case, here's one I've set up. I call it Dave's home page, and maybe I want to add some information or some content to this. So right now I've got a menu over here of applications that I can go into. I've got some customer follow-up information where these are kind of alerts on potential problems I've got with customer orders. Here's my CRM pipeline value, my on-time shipment performance. So it can be metrics, as well as some lookup type information. So let's say I wanted to add some content to this. All I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Edit, and this is going to open up what we call our widget catalog and allow me to add a widget. And let's say I wanted to add an item lookup as an example. So I'm going to search in my widget catalog for anything with the word item in it, and there's my predefined item lookup widget. We're going to add that to the page. You're going to see that it now comes in as another little box or widget down here on the bottom, but I may want that to appear up in my primary panel, so I'm going to shrink some of this information down. In fact, I want that to appear to the left of my item availability widget. I'm going to click Save, and now I've got the content as I see fit for my application area. Now, that's a live widget, so if I were to go into that and I want to search for example, gaskets, I type in the word gasket, and now I've got my lookup, and I could drill into the details here if we wanted to. So as a user, as I mentioned, we can kind of personalize the content as we see fit for our roles, and these can be saved at the user level or the role level so that as I deploy them, maybe everybody in the sales area inherits this dashboard, or everybody in the purchasing area inherits this. So you can see here, I've got a dashboard of strictly metrics type information. So if I'm an executive, maybe this is the information I want to see every day when I come into the organization. All right, so that ability to personalize content is going to allow me that ability to see information very quickly and have it relevant to my particular role in the organization. Now we'll talk a little bit about collaboration and information sharing. So Another capability within Infor CloudSuite is the ability to have what we call a activity feed, and that's what we see down here in the middle of the screen. So it may be information on something that's happened in the system here, a purchase order has been modified, or maybe a sales order has been changed. But what I can also do is use this as an internal messaging system and kind of commingle my business data with some of those communications. So here, I was in the item screen, or the item master, and I sent Jeff Smith this message saying I wanted him to review this support bracket. I attached a drawing to that, so that's not, that's kind of common messaging type functions you'd expect. But what happened was it built this drill back link to the item master record I was on when I sent that. So think of this kind of like a electronic sticky note, that when I was looking at this record, I hit this little share link in the upper right-hand side, and basically all I did was I said, I want to send this to Jeff Smith. Okay, so I picked Jeff, I typed my message, and I shared this. Okay, so that's what created that drill back link that we just saw. So that type of collaboration exists throughout the system, where, think of it today, you may have to attach a sticky note to a piece of paper, put it in a mailbox or put it on a desk, and then Jeff sees it, and by the time Jeff gets it, in that case, it may be dated or stale information. Here you're looking at real-time information that I've directed Jeff to immediately. All right, we'll talk a little bit more about some features within the user productivity area. One is called workflow management, electronic workflow management, and this is where I'm going to have a predefined trigger. In this case, I'm in my quotes or estimates entry, and I've got a situation where if a margin goes beneath a certain amount, in fact, I'm going to change this unit price on this item to $26,000 from $29,000. So let's go ahead and we'll update that to $26,000. I'm going to save that record. That's going to take my margin beneath my 30% number. All right. Whoops, I'm sorry, I hit the wrong button. That's going to take that beneath the 30% margin value, and watch down here in the bottom right-hand side of the screen. What you're going to see is a little message pop up here in a second, and there it is. I'm going to go to my inbox, and what you'll see here is I've got a message saying that system requires management approval because of low margin. Now, I can do a couple things here. Now, keep in mind, this is the internal mailbox. Okay, this could have been sent to an external mailbox as well, but maybe I want to keep my workflow messages confined within the CloudSuite inbox and not clutter my other Outlook messages that I have out there. In this case, though, I'm going to click on this More Info button, and what that's going to do is take me right to that quote that we just looked at. Okay, and I can see there, there's my margin, and maybe I have a note here that says, a sales manager needed to do this for some particular reason. But otherwise, if I'm the sales manager in this case, I can just click on my response tab. We'll click on respond, okay, and what this is going to do is give me the ability to approve that. So when I approve that, that's now an approved estimate or quote, and we're on to the next step in the process for that particular quote or order. All right, so that type of workflow messaging, there's nearly 100 predefined workflow messages or workflow processes already established in the system. However, the tool to build workflows is part of that Infor OS technology that's going to allow you to build alerts or notifications or whatever it might be you need based on data criteria that you specify. All right, we'll talk about another feature, context or related information. So I'm going to take you back to that same item screen that we were just on, and I've got a collection of records here. So I've got different records associated with, in my case, my family code is DRI. And if I hit this little caret in the upper right-hand side, you're going to see a context window pop up and show me what we call related information. So for this bracket, I've got 3 documents. I've got a drawing, I've got a second drawing, and maybe I've got a picture of that. Well, watch what happens if I move to, let's say, this third item down. So because it recognizes the record I'm looking at, it displays the information related to that record. Maybe it's, and I can pop any of these up, maybe it's a work instruction, or maybe it's a picture or a document. Any document you have can be archived in our document management system as part of the Infor OS, and that is part of the system, and can be displayed as I'm viewing that information throughout. So here's another example. I'm going to take you over to an order. So this is a CloudSuite sales order, and you'll see I've got 2 lines. I've got that bracket that we just looked at, and I've got a different bracket down here. Well, if I look at the context viewer, I should see that same information we just saw in the item master, which I do. But because I'm in a sales order now, I may have some other related information. So here I've got a order verification document that was associated with that. If I go to the second row, okay, now I'm seeing information associated with that particular sales order line. So that context-sensitive or related information feature is giving us the ability to associate information with records and have that easily visible, throughout the system, no matter where I am. Now, in addition to some of the collaboration features that we talked about in the activity feeds, we also have integrated CloudSuite add-in for Microsoft Outlook. Excuse me. Here I've got an email message from Kirk Taylor, and if I drill into that, what we're going to see, because I've got that CloudSuite add-in, at the bottom of the screen I'm seeing it recognizes the fact that Kirk is with Boschko. I'm seeing all my order history with Boschko, as well as any interactions I've had. So in this case, I had an RFQ request from Kirk. Okay, and this is this email we see up here. So Kirk asked if we could send him a quote for a specific item. And then we responded back saying, here's your quote, this is the quote number, etc. And you'll notice up above these yellow, what we call smart links. Outlook recognizes that these are CloudSuite records in our system. All right, so if I click on that quote number, what you're going to see is it's going to drill right out to the CloudSuite quote and show me that information readily. So again, another example of how we're integrating with, in this case, Outlook, to quickly show real-time information related to content in that email. All right, so it's very simple to get to that related information through that Smart Link feature. All right, we'll shift gears a little bit now into kind of our analytical capabilities within CloudSuite and Infor Burst analytics and business intelligence. So what this is going to give us is an ability to have multi-dimensional type reporting and analysis for not only our CloudSuite data, but any other data that we may, or data source that we may want to access, as well as combining those sources. So we can actually have, related information between data sources that we report on. So here's an example of what a burst dashboard might look like, and this is going to give us the ability to kind of drill down and peel back the layers for key performance information. So in this case, I'm looking at an example of a sales profitability analysis, and I see total sales, cost of sales, total profit, and average profit margin here at the top. These are what we call key performance indicators. If I work my way down, I'm seeing sales by product line and product, and sales by region, state, and rep. Well, watch what happens if I start drilling into this information. If I click on the Western region, now you're going to see all this information change. So now I'm looking at the Western region, and I'm seeing California, Arizona, and Nevada. If I click on California, now I'm seeing the 2 reps in that region. As I move down further, you'll see that now this is also all repopulated itself to just that data that I'm focused on. All right, now if I go back and I just cleared all my filters that I just did, you'll see here's kind of the details of everything in the sales file, let's say right now. You can do some things like conditional formatting, where if my profit percentage, I think in my case, is over 35%, it's going to be or over 40%, it's going to be green. If it's between 35 and 40, it's going to be this orangish or yellow color. If it's below 35, it's going to appear red. All right, so watch this. Let's say I see that in this case, it looks like this product line, this MAX 700 product line, is running a little low on margin. I'm going to click into that, and we'll see here's the two products that were represented by that. And I see that this particular product is my lower margin product, and it looks like a lot of the reason that that's happening is because of this the sale to Burr Oak tool. And if I look down below, we'll see that, oh yeah, this order, we had a 13% margin, which is significantly lower than we would typically sell this at. And I may want to see some more details on that. So if I click on that order number, it'll drill right out to my CloudSuite data in this case and show me the details. In this case, I can see, oh yeah, that was a special price for customer retention, and it says that they were going to place an order with our competitor, and the sales manager approved this pricing. So there's a kind of a real life example of how you might use your drill backs within your analytics to get details on, in that case, sales information. All right, we could look at a lot of other information here, or maybe I jump to a purchasing related dashboard, and again, same type of features. If I look at, maybe I want to look at all my information related to Bentley because they happen to have a high reject rate. So I'm going to click on Bentley, and now everything filters to Bentley. I can drill down and see that, oh yeah, they had, some issues with the spring clip where we received 40. I accepted 10, but I rejected 30, so I had kind of a low score on that order. If I click on the QC receiver with our integrated quality management, we're going to see that in this case, here's the details that were recorded by the QC inspector. If I want to see the individual tests and defects, I can click on that and see here's the tests that were performed, and there's the results of those tests. So you're one or two clicks away from a wealth of information on any one of these dashboards, and giving you the ability to then kind of drill back and get the level of detail you need to kind of have those actionable insights that we talked about. I could also go in here and say, show me how does Bentley compare with Chromax, and now I'm getting a comparison of two vendors. All right, all this is this is all very, very colorful, very nice information that we're seeing here. But I also want to show you the fact that it's not an IT type function necessarily to create one of these dashboards. So I purposely left some space out on another dashboard. So I've got another profitability analysis dashboard, and in this case, we're going to add some content. So I'm going to go and I'm going to create. Maybe we want sales dollars by product line. We've got percentage. I've got an average margin by product line, but I don't have sales dollars by product line. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to edit this dashboard. So this will show you how simple it is to kind of add content to a dashboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go insert, and I could insert an existing report if I wanted to, but we're going to actually create one from scratch. So when I click New Report, okay, I have the choice of any type of report I want. It could be a pie graph, it could be a column, it could be a bar, it could just be a table. In this case, I'm going to just choose column. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding information to that. Now it's asking me to add a measure. Measure being the value that I want to look at. And I said I wanted a sales report by amount. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to look for extended price. So we're going to go grab that, and I'm going to drag that up to my measures. So now I've got extended price, and I want that to start by product line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my attributes, and I'm going to go to my sales margin information, and I want product line. So there's a category of product line. All right, now I may want to sort this. Let's say let's sort this by highest to lowest extended price, or highest to lowest amount. Okay, so we'll just go and we'll add a sort. And I'll make it descending, so the highest values are over here. And while we're here, let's go ahead and we'll add we'll make it dark to light based on the higher values. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to go back to our measure and we're going to add that to our color. All right, so now it's dark to light based on the higher values. All right, now we can do some other things like maybe I want to display the values above the columns. So I'm going to add that. Maybe I want to add a drill back like we saw before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up and add a report level drill back. And we're going to give this a name. I'll just say it's going to be product line item. Oops. And we're going to go ahead and start choosing our values. So I'm going to say product line for my sales margin data. And I'm going to drill to the item. Okay, so there's my sales margin data item. And then I could continue drilling, but I'm going to say that's as far as I want to go. So I'm going to say no more drilling after that. Click done. All right, and I can even test it at this point. So if I go into this product line and click on it, there's my two products, there's the values. All right, so we should be good there. Now maybe I just want to clean things up and do some quick formatting. So I'm going to go hit my formatting tool. I'm going to choose, I've got templates I can choose from. We'll choose the strong template to get some brighter colors. I'm going to start formatting my x-axis. We'll just make this a bold. Maybe I want to make the axis color stand out a little bit. We'll do the same with the y-axis. We'll add some grid lines to kind of break things up a little bit. The legends, in this case, I don't really care about. If I had something meaningful, I'd have that, but I'm going to get rid of the legends. And then I'm going to make my display values, these values up here, maybe just a little bit larger so we can see them better, and we'll bold those. And why don't we go ahead and make that we'll make that 2 decimals, and we'll make it a dollar or a currency value. So we've got that. All right, so I've got just about everything I want here. Maybe my y-axis to match my x-axis. I want to make that a darker color as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make the axis color darker there. And now I've got everything the way I want, so we'll say done. I'm going to go ahead and save this. So we'll call this sales dollars by, let's call it sales dollars by product line and item. Okay, and we're going to save that. Okay, so now what that does is that saves it and places it on my dashboard. So now I can kind of move that around where I want. These are called dashlets in Burst. I'm going to kind of resize it. And then to make it look consistent with the rest, maybe I want to go ahead and format that. So we'll make that yellow. We'll make it a blue border, large like the rest. We'll go ahead and we'll shadow it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and actually, let me just go ahead and make we'll even make the titles so they're similar. So they're bolded the title. We're going to go ahead and we're going to publish this. What that does is basically just saves that dashboard, and now I've got a working dashboard. So watch this. If I click on the Max 700, you can see everything filters to that. There's my 2 products, or if I'd chosen a different product line, you'll see how it filters differently. And I chose the Mac 100 product line there, so if I look down at my detail table, it should only be that product line, and it is in this case. So very simple to tailor these dashboards and kind of create them to your liking, but again, provide actionable insight data that gives you that ability to kind of peel back the layers and drill down as needed. Now, one last thing I'll show you here is the fact that everything I just did there can be presented in a mobile format. So I'm going to take you to, this is actually me on my phone, and here I'm scrolling up on the display, so you can see what it does is it's responsive in design. So what happens is it takes the various graphs and charts, repositions them to fit inside the phone, in this case in a single column, and displays that information accordingly. So you kind of see I'm scrolling down. You can, I go to the grid here. I can move that around. Now as I move up, you'll also have the drill down capability. So this could be on a tablet as well, but you also have drill down. So here I tap on the east, and now I'm going to drill into New York. Again, all the other charts are going to change based on that, but if you look at the bottom of the screen here, I clicked on the filtering. It shows me what the filtering is, and now we can kind of work our way back to the top, and we can see that now it's filtered for New York within the east. All right, so those were some of the key areas I wanted to touch on with respect to user productivity, smart analytics and dashboards, and hopefully this has kind of given you a flavor of what some more modern ERP systems like Infor CloudSuite can do for you in terms of making you much more efficient and productive in your supply chain management solutions.
With that in mind, we will go ahead and conclude today's webinar. From all of us here at Ultra, thank you to all of our attendees for participating, and thank you to our speakers, Marty and Dave, for sharing their expertise with us today. We wish everyone a great rest of your day, and we'll see you at the next webinar.